That's the first word I wanted to put on camera.
Hope is fragile. Precious. Hope catches the light, splitting the darkness, revealing your destiny.
Geek Bros.
Yes. Yes, that's this is real. This is the Geek Bros. In one room. Back in the studio.
We got the band back together.
That's right. Okay, recording. Gentlemen, what brings the group together for the first time in, I want to say, since April, since Chicago?
Schedules. It finally just panned out.
No.
Fate.
Dark Crystal brings us here. Now, this is Vibe.
Darth Flexx.
And Garbanzo.
We're a little rusty. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Where's my script?
Where's your script? But the outline. Where's the outline?
Where's my outline?
You guys not reading the outline.
I gotta read the outline.
Just in case, we have a podcast, Keepin the Geek Bros, moviegeekspc.com. Subscribe, listen, watch, and all that good stuff. We're here to discuss and review and just like bromance and bond on Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, the Netflix new original series that is just so good.
It is.
It's so good. You guys know. You guys know the. What I was gonna say.
Words.
You guys know how we do. It's the good, the bad, the ugly. We're gonna break it down and shenanigans and whatnot. Everything was so good. It was all good. Yeah, it's already hot.
Oh no, it's just you have a fever because you've never actually done that.
Okay, all right. It's true. You've
actually.
This show.
You've really.
This show was the first series, or entertainment in a while that captivated me. I was talking to Darth Flexx off camera, and I said I couldn't play with my phone. I couldn't play Clash of Clans, sentence free stuff. I couldn't play Borderlands, Badlands, sentence free stuff. I couldn't play Pokemon Masters, send us free stuff, Nintendo, Niantic, and Game Freak. But I couldn't focus on anything but the series. And we're talking about puppets, stylus CGI, and old school like methods, real sets, real puppetry. The most modern puppetry. You would think that it would be ridiculous. You would think it would be a kid's show. I remember texting these gentlemen and said, "This is not a kid's show. This is not for kids. What is this? We're talking about genocide. We're talking about racism. We're talking about political intrigue. We're talking about some Game of Thrones level stuff with puppets
And dealing with the caste systems and suppression of
and
ideas.
hierarchy and monarchy and mysticism.
Down with the patriarchy.
Really, this show is damn near flawless. It's amazing.
God.
I have never. I mean, like, I think the last movie or last Jim Henson content that captured me like this was The Labyrinth, and
so good.
This was great. It held up even more. It was actually much better than the movie, in my opinion. So it just
absolutely.
Oh, and also small tidbit of information: the child from Labyrinth is actually part of the creative team for Dark Crystal.
Yes. The child from Labyrinth is one of the art directors or
full circle.
Director. Yes,
nobody knows who he is. All right,
full circle.
Yeah, so it's just a great show, and it was so much better. There's such a crisper, fresher look to what the movie didn't give you, and it was just a much better look of the world throughout.
But while still honoring the look of the movie, it refreshed the look.
Yeah, but it's like it went from like for me, it's like someone had put on a sharper filter.
Voice acting.
The cast was
the amazing cast. The cast was
Mark
fantastic.
Hamill is the scientist. It took me a while to figure that out. Simon Pegg.
Yes.
Yes.
So for me, it felt natural. It just felt fluid. It was so easy to fall back into those characters, and because the whole thing is that you when you watch the original movie,
right?
And I'm a massive fan of the original movie. You fall in love with the characters, like the idea, the struggle. They're like supposedly the only ones, and this, that, and the other, and then you find out there's more, and it's a love story, and then you're like, man, like, imagine if there were so many. Can you talk about where they came from and the different, they were all over the place, but you never realized how big the world actually is.
Exactly, it fleshed out the world.
So when they actually brought it in, explained how everything happened, gave some backstories between the Skeksis and the Uru and everything, and it was just, for me, it was cinematic perfection, and I never used that term before.
There was so much love and care. Whatever team they built, they cared about it. Because I'm looking at this. I posted on social media that some of the fight scenes, I said, how do you make a fight scene with puppets and people dressed up in puppet gear look so epic? They did it.
Quite like old times.
Oh, very well, father and son. Not quite.
The fight scenes were amazing. The choreography, the cinematography. Like, you know me, that's what I'm about. I'm about cinematography,
I know.
look, lighting, editing.
You're a
nitpicker. I'm not a nitpicker.
You're a nitpicker.
I'm a professional. I'm not a nitpicker. Nitpicker. He said nitpicker. Alright, one, I have no nostalgia for the original movie. You know, like we all say, I have no childhood. I never watched the original movie. I didn't care about the original movie. The only reason I watched this series is because Darth Flexx said it over and over and over again. So when I watched this, I was skeptical. I was rolling my eyes, and I was looking for bad edits, bad dubs, bad cinematography, terrible editing, trying to literally nitpick. I'm trying to find, okay, well, what's CGI, what's puppets, what's animatronic. I was being very, very dismissive,
and it was really hard to tell.
Yes,
I am not.
Yes, that's the good. Is that the CGI was not distracting; it only enhanced.
I went from episode 4 to 10 in one day. I
broke it up in a weekend. It was a little bit on Friday, and I woke up sweating for it.
I just needed to find
what
happened out next,
dude. You were like, listen, this man is like, did you guys watch it yet? Like come on now, did you watch it for the? They wanted to do it for the podcast. I was like, man, whatever. I'll just put it on. I watched a couple episodes. I got really tired. I was mad. I woke up Saturday and I, in a cold sweat, I needed to turn this bad boy back on. I did nothing that Saturday. I watched the rest of it in Saturday. I got up once to eat and I finished it off. And then I went to the movie. It was a Dark Crystal Saturday. This is the first time in a long time that I turned my brain off. Not to say that it wasn't intellectual, but the part of me that analyzes cinematography and film, just to enjoy a piece of entertainment, because it deserved that. It deserved my time.
It was art.
Oh my God, that's understatement.
It was art.
Please be aware that anything we say is really nitpicky, because overall I don't have any bad. The ending was bad, not because it was a bad ending, but because when you reflect upon the ending versus the beginning of the movie, that I would say that the ending, when picking the movie up right afterwards, it kind of gave me a Last Jedi beat, but not in the God, I hate this movie kind of way, but in the whole, that's not what I was expecting. That the ending was bittersweet. I was heartbroken.
The way it makes me feel bad. I remember watching a movie as a kid and watching them drain the podlings. It made me want to kill podlings. Like I liked seeing them get drained and turn old and skin get wrinkly. So when I was able to actually see in the series how they were killing Gelflings, you see the pink blood and everything, and like it's just, I don't know why, but I have this thing about that. I really want to kill puppets. So it makes me feel really bad that I just want to.
You loved the Happy Fun Time, didn't you?
Freeze, punk.
such a great movie. We can talk about that another time.
Yes.
I just the only podling I like is Hup. It's bad and like I love the violence. I'm rooting for the Skeksis, man. Honestly, I don't want Hup to like die, but I'm rooting for the Skeksis because I love seeing the podlings and the Gelflings die. That's my bad. No pun intended.
So the bad is that even though you enjoyed the story, that it's
turning me into a worse person.
It basically turned you into a worse person.
Though I understand why it took so long for them to redo this. This is something that like I didn't know I needed. And I just wish I could have had this years ago.
The narrative about how the Skeksis conned themselves to be the keepers of the crystal, but not necessarily how they conned what is her name? Ogra. I get how they conned Ogra, okay, but they conned all of the what are they called, the Gelflings, to be their supreme rulers. And but not just con them, but that they were benevolent, that they did everything for them, that they couldn't die. There was not a single moment in this series that they showed any kind of benevolence or any kind of kindness. They were always pompous, rude, hostile, arrogant, and just pure nasty. I'm trying to figure out if they've been acting like this from the beginning. How in the hell did they convince this entire population to say, yeah, you're looking out for our best interests, but you're nasty as hell?
And this is going on speculation, just from little bits and tidbits. That this is where I think.
Yeah.
I think was the rising of the Arathri, the Arathian.
Is that the spiders?
The spider.
Yeah.
Okay. I think their uprising, and when they put them down,
there was a war.
They
helped them. My bad. I get it now. They helped them with that war.
Yes.
They talked about this. There was. You know
and
what?
And also, when they first took the crystal, they were not the Skeksis. They were the Uraseks.
That can't be true. Here's the thing. Here's why. Because when Agra woke up, okay, she left the crystal in their care when she went to sleep. But I think she left it in the care of the original beings. She didn't leave it in the care of the Skeksis, from what I understand.
She left it in the care of the Skeksis.
It was the whole thing. Is that
the
thing is that you think this is the first time she's come back? I don't think so. She had originally given them the power for the crystal.
Right.
In the time frame, they split. She came back.
Okay.
Knew the Skeksis still had it. Everything looked fine. Everything was cool. Then she went back into the side.
See, but the impression that they gave me was that those beings came down. They gave her the ability.
I'm going to continue explaining, and it's going to go into spoilers. Just
spoilers.
It's explained by the heretic.
Welcome to the circle of the suns.
And what did he say?
He says that they used the crystal,
right,
and split because of that.
Right. That
Madame Agra must have already met the Skeksis afterwards, and that's when the Uru, the mystics, had gone off in hiding, waiting for the time. So the idea that Skeksis are are basically the negative emotions, the greed,
rises.
and
light to meet it.
Right there.
That's the only thing I like about the Last Jedi.
That was actually
I was in darkness.
Rises and light to meet it.
But then having the mystics who bided their time. They knew that balance would be restored eventually, but it would have to, certain things had to be put into place. And then getting to see the counterparts, because one cannot survive without the other.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And that was kind of sort of hinted at the very beginning of Dark Crystal in the movie, when you see the elder mystic, the leader mystic.
Well, no, I mean it was hinted, but it was also reinforced, because when the spoilers, the scientist dies in the movie, so does one of the mystics as they're headed toward the castle. So it happens twice. So they hint at it.
Also when he cuts his hand.
That too. Yeah. So they 3 times, 2.5 times. The old mystic gets his Yoda on and vanishes into a thin air. The emperor turns to dust, which is...
I will never turn to dust! I was always so scared of the Skeksis as a kid.
because they're horrifying.
They're
I wanted to
horrifying.
be a Skeksis.
Because you were always very different when you were younger. Were you in counseling at any moment, or
No.
that's the reason why?
Yeah.
No.
Of course
All right,
you
I don't have any ugly, but I do have a very weird question that I just thought of right now.
do.
How do they procreate?
Which
Gelflings.
ones? The Gelf through genitalia.
Are you sure?
Well,
I
if they
think
kiss,
so.
I'm gonna assume so.
Yeah, they do. They
I ask you this only because one of the characters has two dads.
Yeah, but her,
Yeah, but I
her
think she-
mother probably died.
Yeah, her mother probably died, and I think she was adopted. It gave me she's an adopted
Yeah.
feel.
I believe she was adopted as well.
Yeah,
Very strongly possible.
right.
But the whole thing is like, I never saw a penis.
It was puppetry. You rarely, if ever, saw below the waist, and that's what I thought was so the good. That was what's so charming about this, is that I never really. It didn't bother me that all you ever saw was from the waist up for the most part. Whenever you saw the waist down, very sparingly, I got excited. Sometimes it was CG,
But it was
and sometimes it was
puppety.
sometimes
it was practical.
Yeah,
Almost all of it was practical.
No, not when he ran and jumped out the window thing. That was CG.
No, that was CG.
That was
and
CG, it was-
the
But not the
hunter
battles.
sprinting was CG.
Not the battle scene.
Yeah, huh?
No.
Which one?
The battle scene with his father.
No.
Most of the battle scenes.
No,
was
you see that? You see, it's cool because like it
Right.
reminded me of the
but
old
usually,
school
yeah,
puppet,
but usually when they do the feet, they don't.
like
They,
overhead view.
yeah, exactly, and they don't.
like a
And,
set.
or they see, or you see it from the waist down, and it never bothered me that I could never see their feet. All you ever saw was just, but the story was so compelling.
Yeah, and on top of that, it was just the puppetry was done so flawlessly. It really felt like they were moving fluidly.
Yeah, I would love to see how the Skeksis, with their benevolence, rose to power to become the characters of the crystal, how they helped the Gelfling fight the spiders, and I want them to establish that. If they ended it there with a big war like that,
Okay.
and knowing that when you go to Dark Crystal they're evil, I like that idea, because then you know season 2 or 3 they're gonna have gonna be a slow burn.
I have a feeling that they may revisit those because remember the Arathis have a hive mind
Yes.
and they remember everything.
Okay.
So I have a feeling that they're gonna have a moment where they're gonna be like, "How did this happen?" Or when Mother Augur might be asking, "How did everything happen? What's going on?" Blah blah blah. And they may tell stories, or they may do the whole
But I think that the story that they're telling.
Dreamscape with me.
Oh.
All right, thank you.
This is gonna be a series, and I hope it gets renewed. Renew it. # season 2 of Dark Crystal. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but
canceled immediately after the first.
That is not funny.
I want you to renew this immediately. That's what I want. I want you to do the exact opposite of Swamp Thing. That'd be fantastic. But it would have served more for setting it back. The rise of the Skeksis. Show us how they conned to become the top. Because where they dropped us in the story, I said the only thing that was bothering me. The only thing that was bothering me is how did these, how did they, being this nasty, rise to prominence and have all this respect to the point where there's a dogma surrounding them? You know what I'm saying? Where they have to be given offerings, every once in a while.
But also remember the Skeksis that did send. They had the one who was the storyteller. Mm-hmm. So he already was weaving those stories in there.
True.
And the Chamberlain, who was basically the whisperer, he would whisper little things here and there.
Yeah, of course.
It's honestly, Chamberlain is still one of my favorite characters.
Favorite characters, gentlemen?
Hup.
Okay.
Dude, I can't even argue with that.
Because Hup is one. Okay, look, he wants to be a paladin with a spoon. That's pretty damn ambitious, especially as a podling. Okay, that's one thing. He keeps it 100% real, 24/7. Like when they were at the bar, like, come sit with us, and just kept drinking, right? And then when we saw the girl who's, I'm pretty sure he's trying to smash, is getting beat up at the bar, he jumps in with his spoon and just starts whacking mother effers. Breaks the spoon, grabs another spoon, and just like
grabs a bigger spoon.
Yep. And then like he's like singing some Santeria stuff in like the prison. And then the Gelfling is telling him, hey, stop, and he just starts like chanting his witchcraft.
I want to make it very clear. What he's referring to is a bar fight. There was a bar fight in this puppet show. Okay, and I mean a cliche, literal bar fight that you would see in movies that are not for kids. This series is not for kids.
I mean, I don't know. I think it can, because it was never.
It's not for kids.
Overtly. I mean, yeah, it wasn't overtly like.
No, I'm not saying this is no. By all means, it's I think PG-13. Probably is rated.
Maybe
it's PG.
It's PG.
It's rated PG.
Yeah.
This is not one of those put your toddler in front of it and just walk away. This thing will give them nightmares. This thing is really raw. It's like it's Game of Thrones with puppets. I mean, it really is. You see one of the Skeksis, the scientist, voiced by Mark Hamill. We love you, Mark Hamill. Send us free stuff.
At Hamill himself.
And he bashes the face in. I mean, you don't see it, but you know what's going on. It's sort of off screen, but they don't shy away from. He bashes it so much that you see blood shoot out and hit the face of a critter. When I saw that, I said, "What?" They off a lot of people in this friggin' series. What is her name?
Deet.
Not Deet. I love Deet. Deet.
Bria?
I think I have a crush on Deet. Not Bria.
It's awesome.
Dude, Deet looks like Patty.
Who?
She reminds me exactly of Patty.
I think so too. Patty's hot. Patty who? The bad sister. I don't think she earned her redemption. No.
I agree.
Not at all. They should have never trusted her. They should have outcasted her. They should have never accepted her. I mean, sure, accept her sorry, but she really...
But then this makes sense, because these people are extremely naive, because they seem to forgive easily and seem to follow someone who treats them like crap.
Yeah, there you go.
So maybe that's just their nature.
It's the age of resistance. They're rising up. They're realizing that this is bad. And
Celadon.
How do you separate what Celadon did to them from the fact that the Skeksis are crap? Unless they're saying, oh, the Skeksis poisoned her. They didn't. Listen, Celadon got her mother killed.
No, I think you have to understand, though, the idea that, and even Mother Agra said it, poor child. She's literally, the idea behind redemption is that this is someone who, and this kind of goes to the idea that, even though sometimes you think you know what's best, but you don't have all the information. And was based upon that. So once she discovered all the information, then it's a different story.
But there's one thing. But she is directly responsible for a ton of death.
Yep.
Even the death of her mother and her sister. I'm sorry, I don't care how naive you are. Even in the court of law now, no matter how naive you are, you'd still burn for that. You'd still burn for it.
I agree.
Okay? So she should have been casted out immediately. So that's an ugly for me. I was waiting for her comeuppance. It never happened. I was never satisfied. It might happen to season 2, and they're probably setting her up for a redemption arc where she'll sacrifice her life, probably. But I don't give a damn. She does not deserve, in my opinion, and never will deserve, any kind of redemption.
Wait, when you see Mother Agra, am I the only one who sees like a old Haitian lady, or anybody else?
No.
When I was a child, I saw this, I thought this was like Oprah, but like just a monster.
Oh my
Oprah.
God, a monster Oprah.
Nobody?
No.
You're the only one. Okay.
Yes,
Exactly.
you are a terrible person. You are.
The main three. Just how different they really were from each other. From Deet's innocence but bravery to Rian's carelessness. It was bravery, but a different sense. It was, I'm going to. It's like he had a chip on his shoulder from the very beginning. I'm going to prove.
Right.
And that ended up causing basically the floodgates to open and all these things to happen. Bria, who is the epitome of a scholar, who is literally, all she says the whole way through, I want to find out the truth. I just need to find the truth. And she is basically does everything she can. It's the perfect combination of characters that kind of intertwine with each other. They are like, you have your rogue, you have your you have your hero, and then you have your intellectual. It's basically it's like if I was playing D&D, it'd be a perfect little combination.
Did you guys see the memory or like kind of the look into the future when you see Jin putting the crystal inside the crystal of truth?
Yeah. Well, it didn't look like him. When you slow down the footage, it looked like Rian.
But that was it.
That's
looks like
that's
Jin,
the point. So I personally think that same bloodline. Question is, who's the mommy?
Yeah, because
I'm thinking Bria.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I think so too.
Olga.
What?
Honestly, yeah, I think Bria and I think Dee is the girl. What's her name?
Oh my god, what are their siblings?
Who?
They can't. They're different colors. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
What if they're siblings? What if Deet's mother is the girl Gelfling from Dark Crystal, and what if
wait, how would
with
that,
Rian
I'm lost.
as the father?
How would Deet's mother be the girl from Dark Crystal, the movie, if that's way after?
Just way after.
Same bloodline wise.
Oh, bloodline.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Bloodline.
And then so her great grandfather,
Yeah.
and then Jin's great grandfather might be the same person.
Did anybody realize that there were 2 strong female leads, and this was and they didn't make a big deal about it?
Just 2. There was quite a few
leads,
strong.
Two leads.
Leads.
And a transgender voice actor.
Yes.
Voiced by Eddie Lizard, one of the funniest comedians ever. Not a big deal.
Yeah. Not at all.
Take notes.
It's funny.
Else.
It's funny because I was watching reviews on this because I wanted to see what everybody else thought, and somebody said, yeah, and believe it, in this day and age, nobody made a big deal about there being 2 female leads, only 1 male lead, and the story was split between the 3 of them evenly, And I said, wait a minute, holy shit, there were 2 female leads. They didn't say anything about it. It was
because they didn't need to.
Exactly, and that we give you a hand for that, Dark Crystal and the Henson Company. So that wraps up. Thanks for tuning in to the Geek Bros. I was gonna say keeping up with the Geek Bros. Geek Bros, the original recipe web series. If you would like to discuss this more, by all means, comment below. Slip into our DMs. Message us on Facebook. Email us, geekbros@yahoo.com. Check out our podcast, Keepin the Geek Bros, now streaming on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, and WeBeGeeksPC.com. So, gents, I'm Vibe.
Darth Flexx.
This is Garbanzo.
And we love you 3000.
Geek Bros.
I came into this series thinking that it was going to connect directly to the movie. It's obvious that there's more in between because the way the series ends and where the movie begins, some shit went down. Lots of stuff had to have gone down.
Netflix has had this format. They've been doing their own shows for years. Like, why'd they wait?
Why did we get Fuller House, 2 or 3 seasons of Fuller House before we got this?
Because that's crappy content. Why would I be in counseling?
I don't know. You wanted to be a Skeksis when you were younger.
Does nobody want to be like Darth Vader when they're young?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think.
Actually, he has a point.
What?
Damn, I can't even argue that.
But Darth Vader looks cool. The Skeksis are ugly as shit. I mean, they're sin. They're literally in the embodiment of sin
Who
ostriches.
didn't want to be Spawn when they were a kid?
Spawn wasn't a bad guy. I mean, he was an anti-hero, but he wasn't a bad guy. He did bad things for good reasons.
Yeah, but
You know
still.
what I'm saying? Skeksis did bad things for bad. We're digressing.
Okay.